3 months ago, the federal government almost made it 30% harder for anyone over 50 to get disability benefits. They quietly dropped the plan in November. The news barely covered it, and almost nobody knows how close we came.
If you're disabled, if you have a parent who is disabled, if you're over 50 and worried that one bad medical event could end your career, you need to hear this story. Because the threat that just got pulled back is going to come back. They always come back.
In September of 2025, a regulatory analyst named Smoligan published a report. He was looking at a draft rule the Social Security Administration had quietly signaled it was working on. The rule would have changed how the SSA evaluates disability claims. Specifically, it would have reduced the weight given to age. Right now, when the SSA evaluates a disability claim, they consider a bunch of factors. Your medical condition, of course, but also your age, your education, your work history, and the realistic availability of jobs you could actually perform. That last part is called the Medical Vocational Guidelines, and they exist because the SSA recognized decades ago that a 55-year-old with a back injury and a high school education has a much harder time finding a new career than a 25-year-old with a college degree. The proposed rule would have stripped that out, or at least heavily reduced it. The SSA framed it as making the process more efficient. The actual effect, according to the analysis, would have been a 20% reduction in eligibility for new applicants overall, and up to 30% for workers age 50 and over. Let me put that in numbers you can feel. Reducing SSDI eligibility by just 10%, half of what was projected, would cut about 750,000 people off from benefits over the next decade. 80,000 of those would have been widowed spouses and children receiving benefits based on a deceased partner or parent's work record. I want you to think about that for a second. 80,000 surviving spouses and kids, not new applicants. People whose partner or parent already paid into Social Security their entire working lives, whose family was already counting on those benefits. That's who would have been on the chopping block. Here's how this almost happened without anyone noticing. The SSA filed a regulatory notice in the spring of 2025 saying it was planning new rules. The notice was vague. It used phrases like making the determination process more efficient. Nobody outside of disability law circles caught it. Then the analysts caught it. AARP caught it. Disability rights groups started raising alarms. A nonprofit called Alliance for America's Promise pushed hard. They asked for meetings with senior officials. They started running the numbers publicly. On November 18th of 2025, the co-founder of Alliance for America's Promise met with the SSA commissioner. The commissioner told him directly that the SSA would not be moving forward with the new regulations. The advocate sent an email to other advocates the next day saying he was deeply gratified by this outcome. That should have been a national news story. It barely registered. AARP covered it. A few legal blogs picked it up. Most of the country has no idea this happened. Here is why this matters, even though the rule was dropped. A nearly identical draft rule was under consideration during the first Trump administration. It got dropped that time too, and then it came back. Every time it gets pulled back, the people who want it learn what arguments don't work, and they refine the next version. The next attempt is coming. I don't know if it will be next year or in 5 years, but the math problem the SSA is trying to solve, namely that they want to spend less money on disability benefits, has not gone away. And the easiest way to spend less is to deny more people. And the easiest way to deny more people is to take away the protections that currently exist for older workers. If you are over 50 right now and you have any kind of chronic condition, here is what you need to know. The current rules favor you. The medical vocational guidelines treat you fairly. If you are considering applying, do not wait. The window where the rules work in your favor may not stay open forever. Subscribe so you don't miss it when the story comes back, because it will come back. Drop a comment if you've been through an SSDI denial and what age you were when it happened. I want to know how many of us already saw the system not work the way it's supposed to.